Ah, Horton Hears a Who. One of my favorite Dr. Suess books. And one of my favorite Blue Sky movies. Yes. In case if any of you forgot, Blue Sky did make a movie about Horton Hears a Who, and it's a childhood classic of one of my favorites. I miss the days when Blue Sky made films. But, hello, my fellow viewers. Since it's late Dr. Seuss Day, Dr. Seuss's belated birthday, I'm here to make a video on what if Blue Sky Studios made a movie adaptation of Horton Hatches the Egg. So, let's dive in, shall we? This actually could have been possible because back when the first movie was coming out, Blue Sky Studios and 20th Century Fox did get the rights to Horton Hatches the Egg. And the plan was that, unlike the original book, which was a prequel to Horton Hears a Who, this was meant to be a direct sequel to Horton Hears a Who. Big change from the original book, isn't it? I mean, Blue Sky made a lot of sequels to their movies, like Ice Age and Rio. But they left others like Robots, Epic, the Peanuts movie, Horton Hears a Who, Ferdinand, and Spies in Disguise as one-offs. Shame, because I feel like some of these franchise films had the potential to become franchises. But because of Disney buying Fox, we never got that potential with some of these franchises. And Blue Sky just wanting to milk the Ice Age franchise. But Horror wasn't nearly that film to get a sequel. With, again, Horton Hatches an Egg. And of course, as a fun fact, one of the lines from Horton Hatches the Egg was in Horton Hears a Who. That, of course, being, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful. 100%. During this time, they briefly got the rights to that book, but why didn't they make a sequel? That's a tough question. I'm not 100% sure why they didn't make a movie adaptation of Horton Hatches the Egg. But I assume it's because they were more focused on other movies at the time and they didn't have enough time to focus on a Horton sequel, or they just want to focus more on Ice Age. I have no clue. So, basically, since this was meant to be a sequel, it would take place after the first movie. I'm going to say timeline-wise, it could have been released like 2010. After Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs and before Rio. And like the first movie, it would likely be rated G. Of course, they would have to bring Jim Carrey back as Horton as well as the other cast members. Now, in terms of the plot, it was about Horton meeting Maisie, an irresponsible bird, to sit on her egg while she takes a short break, which turns into a permanent relocation to Palm Beach. And when Horton is seen in the nest on top of a tree, he's exposed to the elements, laughed by his jungle friends, and captured by hunters, and is forced to endure a terrible sea voyage, and then he's placed in a traveling circus. But despite his hardships, and Maisie's clear intent not to return, he refuses to leave the nest because his instincts keep on keeping his word. The traveling circus ends up visiting near the new Palm Beach residence, and then Maisie visits the circus just as the egg is due to hatch after 51 weeks and demands Horton should return it without offering him a reward. But when the egg hatches, the creature emerges as an elephant bird, a cross between Horton and Maisie. Horton and the baby return to the jungle happily, and Maisie is punished for her laziness by ending up with nothing. What changes would they have to make? They have to bring back most of the characters from the first movie, like Morton and Horton's students. they would have to be brought back. Obviously, everyone Whoville would not return because they were not in the original book. I could possibly picture like a mention of the mayor. Obviously, they wouldn't bring back Steve Carell because he would have been too busy with Despicable Me at the time. So it would have made sense not to bring back the mayor nor recast him. The hunters could still appear, the circus storyline would still occur, but the main villain I could see would either be the leader of the hunters or the ringmaster. Kind of a reference to Dumbo. But this wouldn't be the same ringmaster from Dumbo because Disney would have called for, like, you know, copyright infringement at the time before Disney bought Fox. So, kind of hypocritical, but I don't know if it is hypocritical or not. But the ringmaster would be the villain. I don't know who would play the ringmaster or any of the hunters. For Maisie, I could see someone like Catherine Keener as Maisie. And the egg could still hatch. The egg hatches still after Horton and, you know, the egg escape. Maybe Morton and some of Horton's students get captured as well. I'm going to say Katie is the only one that wouldn't be captured due to Joey Keene's commitment to Ramona Beezus at the time. So, understandable why she probably wouldn't come back. Or maybe his students would be on a quest to rescue Horton. And there could be the subplot where they have to travel to where the circus is being held to save Horton. And of course, when the egg hatches, Maisie and Horton decide to raise the elephant/bird hybrid just to give it a bit more of a happier ending. Not only to the story, but also Maisie. After, you know, they would escape the circus. Now, I know what I said is like a brief summary, but I couldn't write this into a full movie pitch. Now, would John Powell have returned to do the score? Yes, he would have. Because John is one of my favorite movie composers of all time. Now, do I wish Blue Sky had done a movie adaptation of Horton Hatches the Egg? Yeah, though part of me could have seen it as a prequel, but at the same time, I could live with it as a sequel. If it was like a prequel sequel similar to The Godfather 2, I wouldn't have minded that. Maybe there could have been some flashbacks to Horton thinking that all humans are good because of the Who's, but turns out not all humans are good. So that would have been some interesting character development for Horton to realize that not all humans are good. But anyways, I will see you all later.